bad?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm stating is that he is an expert.
Oh, I understand he's an expert. Look, I appreciate your call. We'll be right back. All right, we're going to analyze how the system uses humor to discredit the liberty movement and those that question corruption. The Corbett Report attacked myself and Jesse Ventura last night. We'll be looking at the Denver International Airport. Coming up a little bit in the third hour, I also have this Bruce Fine interview I did yesterday. Well, I wanted to play a video clip of Bruce Fine talking about we are at the verge of despotism. Just a section of it, but I'm going to have all 3 parts of the video posted at Infowars.com. So that's coming up. Got a bunch of economic and police state news and Iran news and space news I'm going to get to. But right now, let's go back to your calls. I wasn't trying to get an argument with the last caller if you just tuned in. When people call up disagreeing and they said, you're wrong about Fukushima, and then I can't understand what I'm wrong about, and they just keep repeating, this person's an expert. Okay, this person's an expert. All right, they have a website. It's on the internet. I'm like, I know, websites are on the internet. I'm just, I don't know. It's just sometimes, I love people that disagree with me because sometimes they bring up real things I've been wrong about. Like yesterday, and I went and did research. I said, we're at DEFCON 4. Well, then I didn't have time to look it up this morning because I actually couldn't find it. Isn't DEFCON 1 the worst level? And I was trying to imply DEFCON 5 is the worst, and we're at DEFCON 4. I get stuff wrong all the time because there's so much jumbled up there, I get things wrong. In fact, a lot of times on the weekend, I'll listen to a rebroadcast of my show. Not that I enjoy listening to myself, but, I'll listen to it. And I always hear some little factoid I twist. But it's not on purpose. But other than that, just because my brain's like baling hay up there, and every once in a while gets a wire across the wrong way, and then everything gets foobarred or cattywampused or, a little bit fandangoed. Doesn't matter. The general information I'm covering is spot on, and I challenge people to show me where I'm wrong. Mike in Illinois, you're on the air. Thanks for holding. Good to hear from you.
Hi there, Alex. I think that he just didn't realize the broad scope of the whole thing, and he kind of focused on maybe somewhere where there's somebody that knows something, and you weren't so thorough, I guess. But that's not really true either. So, well,
I also see these comments. I get emails about why don't you cover the Federal Reserve, or why don't you cover the Vatican calling for world government, or why don't you cover what Israel did? And I've always covered whatever it is they're saying. And I'm like, again, if the one video they watch of you isn't what they're into at that time, you're covering it up. And again, that's one-dimensional moron thinking processes. But side issue, let's get off me. I apologize. How can I serve you, Mike?
Doors up for us, for me. I mean, that's exactly. I mean, I have the Jekyll Island book next to my bed here, and I was going to call and ask you about, we have a lock and dam here around Peoria, and I was wondering how you can monitor when they empty it, because I heard about the Nebraska nuclear plant, and it's because they did not empty some of the water when they should have, the Army Corps of Engineers. So I'm curious about that.
Well, that got covered up, whatever happened in Nebraska. France had a big nuclear spill. They've covered that up, but radiation levels have gone up all over Europe. Our radiation levels have gone up from Fukushima because we're right downwind from it across the Pacific, and that's been covered up. I mean, the media never gave it attention. The EPA said, we're just going to raise the level of what we say is safe, and then it's basically a non-issue.
Sometime somebody off air with me, I live in between Springfield, I live around Peoria, and I live in between Springfield and Chicago, and we have the Department of Agriculture. We have so many things going on right here. In fact, I'm trying to get a hold of public access TV here in East Peoria, but they won't return my calls, and it's inside the school, so it's like...
Yeah, you have to physically go down there and go through the bureaucracy and get the shows on. There'll be some effort. But get in there, get it done. Every person we reach out to is key. We'll be right back with more of your calls and a ton of news. Stay with us. We'll try not to go cattywampus. Okay, we are continuing with your phone calls. We're now 8 minutes into the second hour today. In about 25 minutes, we're joined by investigative journalist there on Capitol Hill, Wayne Madsen, who'll give us a huge breakdown on what's happening in Iran, in the latest on Libya, where he's traveled and visited, Syria. Also, we'll get the latest investigative info he's got on Barack Obama. He's been going to Chicago and other areas and digging in to that. But I want to put on screen for Prisonplanet.tv viewers, not just a radio show, folks, the article. Radio listeners can go to Infowars.com and find it. Iowa Blitz. Ron Paul goes for Newt's throat. We copied Drudge's headline, but we added a little blurblet. Ron Paul's campaign bought airtime in the important caucus state of Iowa in order to inform caucus participants about Newt Gingrich's record, not only as a flip-flopper, but as a seasoned insider pushing the establishment's big government agenda of carbon taxes and endless war. Now, if you scroll down, you can see the 60-second ad that is there. And then below that, we have the 2-minute version. And I'm calling this Operation Sink Gingrich. Now, we've already done newscasts. We've already done reports. In fact, last week I did an in-depth report about him supporting carbon taxes, open borders, amnesty, socialized health care with the Nancy Pelosi clips and things. So I think I'm going to have Kurt also add that to that page because we make no mistake, folks, true libertarian constitutionalists, you could call us conservatives, whatever label, we're into freedom. We like the founding fathers. We think they had good ideas. Compared to what we're seeing, the globalists bring forward. We exposed Perry. People 6 months ago thought we were crazy. He didn't go to Bilderberg. He didn't work for Al Gore. He didn't support government health care for Hillary. And then it all came out, and they're like, wow, you didn't lie about that. First we put it out, then some Tea Parties picked it up, then Drudge picked it up, and boom, that was over. And I'm telling you, folks, there's no other, quote, conservative libertarian outlet that will actually expose these candidates but Infowars.com, Prisonplanet.com, because we transcend these labels of liberal conservative. Now, that said, the only other big outlet is Drudge, and that's why I gave him kudos earlier. The system undoubtedly does not like the fact that Drudge is top linking to videos of Newt Gingrich supporting carbon taxes and government-run health care and stuff like that. You've got to get these out, because I talked to friends and family. I was talking to one crew member. He was at his father-in-law's this last weekend. He's like, I like Gingrich. He's scientific and really smart and a statesman, and he's got it. They kind of buy that media talking point of Gingrich has a lot of ideas. He's really a great guy. Gingrich is the most conservative. Newt Gingrich is a Republican version of Al Gore, but Al Gore is corrupt and anti-freedom and pretty dangerous. He's a bad guy. But I've gauged him. I've been around him in person, just like I've been to events Gingrich was at years ago. And I'm telling you, on the chart of 1 to 10 of the evil aura, Gingrich is about a 9.5. Al Gore is about a 6. So I'm telling you. And I know why. He's part of some really creepy futurist societies that, talk about global enlightenment and the end of the family and all this Luciferian buzzword stuff. He's definitely on the inside track. Newt Gingrich, through academia, has been brought in to the highest levels of the Illuminati. I can tell you from deep research. He walks like a duck. He quacks like one. He gives all the little key signs. Beware Newt Gingrich. And he's probably just a ringer for Obama. Because the globalists like Obama. They like the division he brings. They like the fact that he could care less and just reads off a teleprompter. So he's a ringer. He's so many other things. And now Ron Paul is number 2, undisputed. CBS, ABC admitted it. He's number 2. You destroy Newt Gingrich with his own record. Like we've done Mitt Romney, he's not totally destroyed, but he's flopping around damaged. Perry is in deep trouble. He was high-level Republican analysts thought he was going to be the man. And you saw him try to push him. And what did we do? We just fired torpedoes right into him. And Drudge linked to those torpedoes. Bye-bye, Rick Perry. Bye-bye, Mitt Romney. Bye-bye, Newt Gingrich. But bye-bye hasn't happened. Submarine pops up. There's that big fat whale of a tyrant, Newt Gingrich. Fire at will. Fire at will, Commander. But you've got to fire on him. Open fire. Fire at will. Go to Infowars.com. Get that article linked in red. Get it out to everybody. And I'm going to go through some of our videos we put on the YouTube channel where I've exposed him, and I'll get those posted there, too. Nice little arsenal area for you to get it out to your Republican family members who are just as ignorant and just as in the dark and just as conned as the moron Obama supporters. You cannot make fun of Obama supporters for being upset about Bush and hoping that Obama would change things because he lied to them. You cannot sit there and make fun of them and then support Newt Gingrich. You are as big a moron, a willful moron. So we've got to force Republicans to look at what Newt Gingrich is, and they don't want to, though, because, see, they got sucked into the con. This is how the con works. I'm going to your calls. Because I know I was conned. I was a senior in high school. No, I guess I was out of high school when all that happened. Yeah, I've been out of high school for a while. Point is, I remember being in high school and watching Newt Gingrich, leading the Republicans, and so he could take over the movement when they got elected. The system knew what was going to happen, and then basically kill all the real reforms and bring in false reforms. But I remember in '94 and all the things he did. And when the media would attack Newt Gingrich, I wasn't sophisticated enough to go, well, if CNN's attacking Newt Gingrich and Bill Clinton's attacking him, Newt Gingrich must be good. Bill Clinton, burned up Waco. Bill Clinton's for gun control. Bill Clinton's for the UN. Bill Clinton's for the Federal Reserve. I at least knew enough about that. I was kind of like a mainline Tea Party person is today. I knew socialism wasn't good. I knew private property was good. I mean, I was a decent person, but still very ignorant. And I thought, well, if Al Gore and Bill Clinton are attacking him, he must be good. And I got his book and I read it. And then I started waking up to him and I started watching C-SPAN and saw some of the freshman people in the House talking about what he was doing and how he would kill deals behind the scenes. And that was another beginning of my awakening. And so take heart. Just like I woke up to how I was being conned, we've got to wake up Obama supporters. We've got to wake up supporters of Newt Gingrich, because once you show them, I mean, a great example we covered on the nightly news last night. Nancy Pelosi came out yesterday and told what Politico, she said, I got dirt on Gingrich and I'll release it at the proper time. That's after he has the nomination. Oh, he is a lame duck. The cheating on his wife, the adultery, the lying about it, but then it goes on and on. The lobbying, the corruption, the bailout supporting, the sanctuary cities, the illegals supporting, just all of it, the government health care, individual payer mandate. It goes on and on. The end of the family. I mean, this guy is a walking globalist. People think, well, no, he flip-flops. He's a smart politician. No, he's not, in the way you say. The flip-flop is that he'll say conservative things, but do globalist stuff. Okay? That's where the flip-flop is. And Pelosi came out and she said, I'm going to release stuff on you. And he said, oh, give it to me now. Give me a Christmas present. Like, oh, throw me in the briar patch. These two do TV ads together promoting carbon taxes. It's all a big, sick joke. He is a ringer, period. Period. Newt the Ringer Gingrich. We must sink him. We must sink him now. Okay, I'm done ranting. Let's go to Ed and PA, then Jay and others. Go ahead, Ed. Thanks for holding.
Hey, Alex, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Yeah, on RT, there's a little thing a lot of people missed. It was a Russian general complaining that HAARP stopped their spacecraft from going to Mars. And but my father...
Now, wait a minute. That is big news. If they're saying that their spacecraft was sabotaged by different waves or systems that hacked it, because there's certainly microwave weapons and other things that can do that. I don't know if I'd call it HAARP in general. What was the headline on that? And I'll look that up.
Just Google Russian General Grunt HAARP.
Russian General what?
Grunt. They call the spacecraft Grunt.
Russian General.
G-R-U-N-T.
Okay, I got it. Russian General Grunt.
And HAARP. H-A-R-P.
Okay, we'll...